Hi everybody, my name is Natasha from Divon Creations and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my next upload. If you are a return viewer, hey girl, I'm glad you back. So let's not waste any more time. It is time to get crafting. Let's go. All right, y'all. So we're going to be working in our Cricut today. So this is Cricut Design Space. I'm making a cake topper. So I will show you the supplies I used at the end of the video. This is just how I created the design. I'm going to use elements that Cricut offer, but I will use a font that I had downloaded to my computer, but you're welcome to search different websites to find fonts. So there's the wreath that I use. You can just write that number down and then you can just plug it right into Cricut and it will bring it that exact design up. So that's how you can use those designs. I'm going to go back to the canvas, and for the Mr. and Mrs., I'm just going to type it in. So you select type and go ahead and type your letters in and choose the font that you like. So you go to the top left of the screen, scroll through all the fonts. If you pay for Cricut Access, then you will have a lot of fonts available to you. I use one called Friday, and that may be a Cricut font. So I apologize. You can definitely use the Friday font if you have Cricut Access. If you don't, they will try to charge you for it. I do know that sometimes Cricut will offer free fonts for the week. So just make sure you're checking through the font section and keep a note of the ones that you really like to use, because sometimes they will come up for free. So I'm just looking through. I'm eventually going to choose the Friday font, and there it is. I think it's really nice, especially for wedding items. It has a very script, feel to it. So this is like my go-to. All right, so now that we have changed the font, what you have to do now is ungroup your letters and ungroup your letters and then put them together closer so they won't be so separated. Now, the way you do it is going to be up to you. It's all up to your style and preference or how you want it to look. So I'm just moving the S around until I am satisfied with the placement. Once I'm satisfied with the placement of the letters, I'm going to select them all and I'm going to weld them together, because when you weld it, it's going to make it one continuous cut. If you attempt to just group it or attach it, you may not get the same, definitely you won't get the same effect with grouping. So I always make sure I just weld it. And once you weld something together, if you need to undo that, you will have to hit the back button. You will not be able to unweld the way you can group and ungroup or attach and unattach. So I did the same thing to Mr. I ungrouped it, put the R where I wanted it, and then I welded together. And now I'm going to put the wreath to the back and duplicate my Mr. and Mrs. because I may use it later. And now it's just about placement inside of your wreath. So you need to size everything down. At least I had to size it down because it was a little too big. And I want to fit everything inside of the wreath. So this part is all going to be your creativity and how you want your cake topper to look different. And that's one of the really great, awesome features of being a crafter and using cutting machines, because we're all one of a kind and we all have different styles and designs. So now that I'm happy with the placement of my Mr. and Mrs., I'm going to select the Mr. and Mrs. and I'm going to weld it and duplicate it because I'm happy with it. I'm not going to want to change it. So when I'm satisfied with the design, I like to weld it together. I selected my wreath and the wording, select both of them and weld. Now I have my additional Mr. and Mrs. and my idea for this part was to cut it out of a different color material or a different type of material and place it on top of the wreath. Now that I'm satisfied with my design, it is now time to make it. I'm going to cut the eyeball off on the Mr. and Mrs. extra one. Make sure that it's sized correctly and hit make it. So now we are ready to go to the machine. So first pick your material, put it on your mat, set your materials and hit go. Now that it's cut, it's time to duplicate. Now that we have duplicated, it's time to glue everything together with my favorite spray. I decided to add vinyl and voila, I put the vinyl on top. I did go to silhouette to add an offset backing and I think it turned out really amazing. Check out my cake topper. I use a bamboo straw as the stick and thanks for watching.
Yeah, every day that's you.